Okay, the Smartboard is basically the Smartboard is a proprietary name for it. It's actually an interactive whiteboard, and it's not just a board. It's a combination of different things. You have the interactive whiteboard, you need a projector, and right now I'm using this as a teacher would use a regular whiteboard. You know, in our classes we have whiteboards all around, but this is now just a whiteboard using nothing, doing nothing really fancy at this point. But also, you need a computer, and that could be a laptop or a desktop. It also uses some software that actually controls everything, and the software is really the heart of it. So this package here basically is what consists of a system that all put together to create a very powerful tool. It works, you know, like a whiteboard. I can choose different color pens, and into this system I can put a traditional VCR to project. I can take a digital camera. I can connect to the web. And all these different digital devices, I can keep on adding this, and all these can be projected. So in the projector, some interact directly with the Smartboard, others don't. But as you see, I'm just using this as a traditional whiteboard. I'm not doing anything more than just using like a teacher would use, you know, pen and pencil at this point. So erased, etc., etc., etc. It is touch sensitive, so you can move certain things. And one of the things that Selena asked me to do is like, okay, right now we have focused in the past couple of years in math and science because they were interested in it, and we really wanted to focus with the department. And these are things I said I'm going to throw together in 15 minutes in the sense of what a person can quickly do in a classroom. So if I'm a coach, I coached softball at Sacred Heart for many years, and I could use this in the sense of the one toughest thing we used to talk about is bunt defense. So I could set up the field, I could talk about bunt down first baseman comes over, second baseman covers, right fielder goes down the line. And kids could play with this back and forth. Now, I could actually make many copies of this and have all the different bunt situations, but what I decided to do is I said, okay, here on the web is a videotape of bunt defense, run on first, bunt to first base.
This bunt covers with a run on first base.
So,
are you actually connected to the internet?
Yeah, connected.
Once again, run on first base, ball bunted to the first baseman. This is how we will defend this.
So you can have the kids play, you know, the idea is that all the kids playing with it, having all kinds of videos for doing baseball defense, soccer, football, etc. But the idea is you've now tied it to something very powerful that I could not do on a regular whiteboard.
Also, if somebody has videotaped a game of a friend's game, they could play it through the VCR and
yes, if you get it digital, they can look at it and analyze it, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Here is a map of Greece. I got this off. We have a subscription to a company called Maps 101 that has all kinds of different maps. Easy to go there, put it into the notebook. And if I were a history teacher, I could use this. I thought more about art. Here I am. Here, if any of you took an art history course, you had the traditional teacher talking about axis, different shapes, la la la, making notes, 200 BC, la la la, you know, writing whatever they want to talk about this object, etc., etc., etc. Now I'm not an art history teacher. If you're an art history teacher, if you took an art history course, you could have a field day with this. And at this point, one of the things that's nice about this can be saved. So these notes and stuff like that can be saved and distributed to kids. And if I just keep on going with this temples, you know, on and on with all kinds of different things with art. So any art history teacher could have a really nice field day with this tool. One of the things that I think in what The Smartboard comes with these certain features. This is called the screen. And what happens, is that it allows some ways to present information in different ways. So if I pull down the screen, and one of the things is that this is really unlimited. It's up to the imagination of the teacher, who can do all kinds of interesting things with it. And I think we're going to see over the next 4 or 5 years some incredible things done by our teachers that we're not even thinking about. And when new resources come out, you say, oh, we can use that and that. Key parts of this, it takes time. It's not easy to use this, learn it, and then begin to think about ways to do it in the middle of all the things that teachers are doing during the day. So time is a critical element for teachers to have to develop really well thought out activities. This can turn out to just be a whiteboard like I was showing you, or it could be a really interactive, exciting medium. And tied to the time is the thing of faculty development. One of the things that probably is the most important part of this proposal is having faculty development sessions so that people can learn how to use it, but then also spend time talking about how they're using it, and as a collaborative of different teachers, talking, exchanging, finding different ways of doing it, and that whole mass of users creates a very effective environment for learning and exchanging information. Now, one of the things, we have a certain process here. Think of this as maybe a history exercise where we have 20 different events and kids want to put them in order, which is one of the interactive things. I can start pulling these out and saying, okay, what's the order? Well, our order is we choose a departmental focus. The first department we focused on was math. There was real desire for it, et cetera, et cetera. We said, okay, let's not, instead of saying put one in each department, let's focus the energies and put everything in one place where it's you get a better return in terms of the training, et cetera. And what we did is we said, okay, there are people out there who already were using it. So we found some outside presenters from different schools. I called up put a note out, who as a math teacher is really using it a lot, so we brought the 2 people in and did a presentation for the department. Then we decided, we did ones that we talked about after-school training. And last year, what we did with a number of teachers, that they came in 4 sessions, hour after school, hour and 15 minutes, learn how to use the Smartboard. So they would be able to say, I now know how to use it, and then now they're ready to really think about how they're using it. And so what we created was summer workshops. And the summer workshops were geared around creating content to use in class, not saying, how do I do this? So the teachers came into the summer workshop, experienced with using it, and began to really talk about curriculum. And so the science department came, and they had a 2-day workshop. 2 days?
Yes. Yes.
And they worked together, and they began to create content for it. And this is going to be an ongoing process. Now, one of the things we're thinking about is also, at this point, because there's so many people in the school, that we're looking at trained department trainers. That instead of depending upon a few technical people with 90 teachers, say, okay, who's the person in your department who can do departmental training? You have your department meeting, well, we can talk about the curriculum, or maybe we're going to have a meeting where we come down here and we're going to work on these content ideas, together. Now this part can go, we're not sure, it's going to go here or here. Now conceptually, again, any curricular idea, you're talking about sequencing things. Kids could be coming back and forth and create a sequence. I could make double copies, and you could have 2 columns, and one kid arranging a sequence event, leaving it there and coming over, and then coming to this side and doing that. So this type of ability to move stuff around, sequencing and things, will be appropriate to history and other things. So this was quickly done. I mean, this was done, again, 20 minutes sitting down, we put my ideas together. It's not fancy. It's something that can be done in class on the spur of the moment if a teacher decides to, if they learn how to use the tools. And the tools are pretty simple. One of the things that I need to show you before I turn it over is that over here, if you're familiar with PowerPoint, you have here's your slide tray, so I can go back and forth. One of the nice things about this, I said, when I pull this menu down, you could put attachments like Google Images. If I were a teacher, I would have the Google Images up there, so anytime I wanted to go quickly get an image, I could go to Google Images and then just find an image and put it into my notebook. There are galleries that come in, and if I... This is where I found there's some pictures and backgrounds, essentials for educators. This is in the sports, there was the baseball thing. So what's happening is the companies are providing all the resources that would be part of it. You can quickly grab things. You put your own content in here, so you can create what's called a notebook with the resources ready to go for a formal lesson you already prepared, or you just simply have, oh, I want to start doing something very quickly in class, and use it like a whiteboard and have all those resources ready for you to go. So I'm going to...
If you're using it as a whiteboard,
Yep.
Can you also then move what you wrote around and reorder those, or is it sort of...
I think these are considered objects.
so it becomes an object
Yes.
that you can move around? Okay.
Yes, you can move around. Everything is really an object that's movable. So again, it's whatever you, imagination. I prefer, this is me. These are two teachers. Can I get them going so they can really, because they've done some neat stuff. I could have said save, and all the stuff I've done could have been handed to kids in a notebook file they could have looked at.